Hi everyone, welcome to another tennis talk, and today's topic will be about the lost generation of tennis. Let's get right into it. What do I mean by the lost generation? First of all, let's talk about the big three here. Rafa Nadal, Roger Federer, and Novak Djokovic all dominated the ATP Tour in over 2 decades, and one of them is still active in the moment. Now, the next generation was supposed to step up and take the mantle. And I'm talking about the players born in the 90s, such as Alexander Zverev, Daniil Medvedev, Casper Ruud, Matteo Berrettini, and Stefanos Tsitsipas. But did they ever win anything in the Grand Slam majors? Did they win any Olympic medals? Have they done anything for their generation? But then we see now the later generation, the next gen as they call it, with Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner dominating the Grand Slams of 2024 and right now in 2025 with the French Open going to Carlos Alcaraz and the Australian Open going to Jannik Sinner. So what happened to these guys? The most successful players from the 90s, or this lost generation as I called it, are Daniil Medvedev and Alexander Zverev. But let's talk about Daniil Medvedev first. Daniil Medvedev, otherwise known as the Octopus, has reached world number 1. He won his maiden Grand Slam title against Novak Djokovic, preventing him from winning a Korean Grand Slam at the US Open in 2021, and has a total accumulated titles of 20 in the tour. Now, why am I putting him in this category of the lost generation? He has been in 6 finals, winning only one of them. And he has lost to Rafa Nadal at the US Open and the Australian Open, being 2-0 up or 2-1 leading. And with Novak Djokovic as well at the US Open and at the Australian Open, before losing to Jannik Sinner when he was 2-0 up. Now that is impressive for a guy that has been in the top 10 for so many years, to not being able to capitalize on these wins. For someone called the hardcourt specialist to not get more Grand Slams in hardcourt. Currently, Daniil Medvedev has not been in the best shape. He has not made it past the second round this year of 2025 in the Grand Slams, losing to Leonard Tien, the up-and-coming next gen at the 2025 Australian Open. Lost to Cameron Norrie in the first round in the French, and Benjamin Bonzi at Wimbledon. Now, let's talk about Alexander Zverev, another player in this lost generation. He has won 24 titles in the ATP Tour. He has made it to 3 Grand Slam finals, but hasn't been able to win any of the 3, being 2-0 up against Dominic Thiem in 2020 at the US Open, and then lost in the 5th set. Then he played Carlos Alcaraz at the French Open in 2024 when he was up 2-1 and failed to win that match as well in the 5th set. And then this year, 2025, at the Australian Open, when he was defeated by Jannik Sinner in straight sets. He does have an Olympic gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. But other than that, among being the one from this generation to have the most titles, he has not been in the best shape, as in Wimbledon of 2025, where he lost in the first round against Arthur Rinderknech. And we're just curious to see how he's going to show up at the United States for the hardcourt swing before the US Open. Another notable player of this lost generation is Casper Ruud, the Norwegian. I feel that Casper Ruud had a lot of potential on clay, losing the finals to Rafa Nadal in 2022 in straight sets. Also made the final later that year at the US Open, facing Carlos Alcaraz for their maiden Grand Slam title and the number 1 in the ATP rankings. Unfortunately, he lost to Carlos Alcaraz, and his highest career ranking then became number 2. The following year in 2023, he reached the final yet again at the French Open, losing to none other than Novak Djokovic in straight sets. So 3 Grand Slam finals, 3 runner-up trophies. Nice. And Casper Ruud has accumulated a total titles of 13 in his career, also making it to the lost generation because in 2025 he has not made it past the second round at the majors and has let the youngsters like Jacob Mensik overtake them in tournaments. And two other notable players of this lost generation include Matteo Berrettini, who made the final in Wimbledon in 2021, where he was up a set against Novak Djokovic, but then eventually lost in 4 sets. And the other player, Stefanos Tsitsipas, the Greek god as they called him, he also was up against Novak Djokovic at the French Open final of 2021, eventually losing in 5 sets, and then made the final at the Australian Open the following year in 2022, but also losing to Novak Djokovic. What happened to these players? Do you think they will be able to grab something before they have to retire? Or will Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner and all the other next-gen players stop him? Thanks for listening to another Tennis Talk. This is Diego. Please let me know in the comments what you think. If you like this video, please click that like and that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.